Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore had a losing record last season, 8-9, yet their regular season win total over-under at DraftKings is 11.5 for this season, which is tied with the Rams for the highest in the NFL. So we've been doing plenty of schedules on First Take. Now I'm going to take us through the Baltimore Ravens schedule. All right, so now here's the thing that you have to think about when going through this schedule. Everything is under the prism of Lamar Jackson has not signed a contract extension. Okay? So just remember, as we go through every one of these things, every one of these games, Lamar has not signed a contract extension. Also remember this. Every single time Lamar has played 15 games or more, here's the win total. 13, 11, 13, 12. Okay? So I'm going to tell you right now, we are going to fall right in line with that. At the Colts, right off of the start of the season, that's a win.
Let's go.
How about this? Saints at home, I'm going to give that a loss. Why? A little bit of a trap game. Brazil, Cowboys, they win against the Cowboys. So they're 2-1 right off the bat. Home against the Titans, that's a win. Sorry, Jason McCourty, former Titan. That's 3-1. Now, here's the Lamar viewpoint. At the Falcons, what's going to be the conversation that week? Could that be a team that goes for Lamar Jackson if he doesn't sign a contract extension? There's a team to keep an eye on. At the Falcons, that's still a win. At the Browns or a bye, that's a win. Home against the Bengals, I'm going to give that a win. Why? Because I believe that Baltimore has the better quarterback. At the Bills, I'm going to give that a loss. So we're going to start 6-2 on the season. Home against the Jaguars. I believe in the Jaguars this year, but I'm giving Baltimore a win. So that's the first side of there. 7-2, all of the buzz back with Baltimore. Jesse Minter, does he look like Mike McDonald? Same kind of resume, etc. All right, let's keep going. Home against the Chargers. I'm going to give that one a win, 8-2. Jesse Minter against his former team there with Jim Harbaugh, one of his mentors. At the Panthers, that's another circle the team Lamar destination, right? NFC South, somewhat of a winnable division every year. Booger mentioned earlier in the show that guys like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud have their contracts and their professional careers on the line relative to what they are. That's going to be a team that we say if Lamar is not signed, could you see him in Carolina? At the Texans, I'll give that one a loss. So now we'll go 9-3. Bye week. Home against Tampa. Another one to circle. Baker Mayfield still does not have a contract extension. Lamar Jackson, where is he from? The state of Florida. Booger will take him right in his backyard and be a smile on his face to go to Bucs games with Lamar there. I can promise you that. So give them a win against Tampa, 10-3. At the Steelers, you know what? Rivalry game. I'll give them a loss there, 10-4. Home against the Browns, 11-4. At the Bengals, we'll split that. We'll make it 11-5. Last game of the season, home against the Steelers, that's 12-5, which could potentially be that Week 18 game. You have to acknowledge that could be Lamar Jackson's last regular season game at home in front of the Baltimore fans, and it could be his last game in general in front of the Baltimore fans, depending on what they do postseason-wise. 12-5. Why? Because when Lamar plays 15 games or more, they win 11 or more. DraftKings over-under at 11.5. Give me the over under the entire viewpoint, Jason McCourty, of Lamar Jackson's future.
I'm not mad at this. I think the fact that you're talking about the amount of games they win, but also whenever Lamar's gotten a new offensive coordinator, he's won an MVP. In order to be in an MVP conversation, you have to win a ton of games. So this makes a ton of sense to me. Just with Lamar healthy and out there on the football field, I love the marriage between him and new offensive coordinator Declan Doyle and what he's going to enable Lamar to unlock. Maybe another version that we haven't seen out of him, which is hard to believe.
You know, I'm a Jesse Minter guy, so I truly believe that he's going to be outstanding. I think him and Mike McDonald, even though they have different personalities, they're going to be cut from the same cloth, being this youthful, energetic coach that's going to be cutting edge for his new team. I like Lamar. Evan, as far as your premise with Lamar, this being Lamar's last year, as long as a franchise tag is available, he's not going anywhere. So I know he hadn't signed a contract. I know we like to talk about that. But as long as a franchise tag is there, the fact that the team has control, if they want him, he's going to be there. And I would have to think that a multiple-time MVP like Lamar Jackson is going to be wanted. But as far as the schedule goes, I like it. I agree with you. Nothing about this schedule, though, matters. It doesn't matter because everything for Baltimore happens once toe meets leather in January, and that's late January, because they can go 15-2. Doesn't matter. What a are Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen going to do in the postseason? I don't care what they do in the regular season. Their future going forward in this league is going to be determined by what happens in late January and early February.
I just feel like we're thinking they're going to roll the football out and this offense is going to be hitting on all cylinders. 6-1 to start, Evan. I mean, I get it. The schedule there isn't like super difficult. I think they lose to the Cowboys in Brazil. I think the Cowboys on the defensive side are a lot better than they're going to be really good. I think they look good on paper. I think they're actually going to be really good in that offense. We know it's going to be great. I think it's realistic that they get to 11 wins here. Like, I might flip-flop on a couple. I just don't think they go 6-1 out the gate with Declan Doyle calling plays for the very first time. But to the caveat, if Lamar Jackson's healthy, when he can be a running threat, he wasn't last year. As much as he was on the field, he was not himself. When he can be a running threat, when he's dynamic with his legs, this offense is going to explode, I believe. I just don't know if it's going to come out the gate 6-1. I think they lose a couple of those early, and then they catch more momentum as the season goes on.
To your point, I'm not sure Lamar can be tagged with the last contract he signed. So,
Yeah.
Boog, he might be able. There might be some movement, but we don't know for sure that he doesn't want to be in Baltimore.
Correct.
He's not happy there.
Right.
But the fact that he hasn't signed that extension, it just leaves that door open.
Yeah, absolutely right. I'm not suggesting he's leaving. What I'm suggesting is until he signs a contract extension, every one of these games is going to be under that premise of Lamar's last game against this team, against that team, could he sign with this team, et cetera, et cetera. All right.